Hi, this is my second video about the van itself. Hope you enjoy. So in my last video, I shared with you my list of requirements that led me to the decision to use a cube van as my main platform for building a little home on wheels. Now, in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the design philosophies, if for lack of a better term, behind why I chose to build the van the way I did. The philosophy behind my van build, and what I mean again is the why I chose to made the design choices that I did when I built this. That's driven by some important things. When you start to truly consider this lifestyle, you go through the what I guess I would call the romantic fantasizing stage of it, where you're just imagining this wonderful life living in a van and how things are going to be so much better for you. But you gotta, but when you get to that point where it's real and you're going to do it, there's part of our mind, I think, that clicks into survival mode. You start thinking about the reality of it. And one of the things that comes up immediately whenever you do anything are the risks that are associated with that particular thing. For instance, I just recently took a mountain climbing class where we learned how to belay and rappel and set anchors and climb up vertical cliffs, and there's a lot of risk involved in that. It's very dangerous. If you don't do things right, you fall to your death, or your partner falls to their death. It's a teamwork thing usually, and so there's a lot of risk involved. There's the romance of it, of course. You want to be on top of a mountain, you want to be able to look around, and you want to say you did it, and all that kind of stuff. But the reality is, you got to always be calculating the risk. In fact, one of the codes of mountaineering is don't let desire override good judgment. All right, there's a lot of people get in accidents because they just have this passion and desire to push on to the summit of a mountain, when they should be stopping and thinking, hey, wait a minute, we should just stop or turn back because of weather conditions or so on and so forth. So you gotta sit and calculate the risks of living in a van. There are some real risks, and the first thing that came to my mind immediately was the risk involved in living in a home on wheels. I mean, if you think about it, what would be the first thing that comes to mind? Well, for me, the first thing that came to mind was what if you get in a car accident, a serious one, that wipes out the van? Or the second to that would be a mechanical failure. What if the transmission just gives up, or you throw a rod in the engine and the engine's burned up? Things like that can happen. There certainly are other risks besides getting in a car accident, but I think the other risks, like getting burglarized or having somebody complain about you and the police show up, or the whole issue of stealth. I think all of those things are kind of lower on the risk factor than the very real risk of getting in a car accident. I mean, there's numbers to support this. Okay, there's actually data to support this. Insurance companies, for instance, will tell you that if you haven't been in an automobile accident every 17.9 years, you're due for one. If it's been longer than 17.9 years, you're overdue for a car accident. And if you look on the list of things that people die from, there's a website you can go to, and you can look up the top, in order of hierarchy, which things people die from the most. Well, car accidents are right up there on the top of the list. They're even above gunshots, gun shootings, and things like that. It's very high, a very high probability you're going to get in an accident or even get hurt in an accident. So when you know what a risk is, and you're being realistic about it, and you put it out on the table, that's the first step to me. Is just being realistic and being willing to accept and own up to the risk, and not ignoring it like nothing's going to happen to me, right? No, you've got to consider the fact that not only might I get in a car accident, I probably will sooner or later. Now, how does that factor into the design of the van? Well, here's how. When you're romanticizing about this whole thing, I mean, I like visual stuff. I like creating things. So I imagine this cool van build, and having everything in order and having it just the way I want it, and just putting a lot of time and effort into it. I think that's cool. I'm not knocking that. I think a lot of folks out there are putting a lot of effort and time into their vans. And sometimes, if it's a weekend type of vehicle that you live in a house or something, and you're just going to use this as an RV type extra recreational, that might be okay. I mean, because you're not using it that much. But if you're living in a van full time, there's some different considerations that come up in your face. And I think the realism of this, the thing that I've had to own up to the most, is that this little home on wheels, I have to think of it as a disposable home. It's not something that's going to last 30 years, obviously. I'm probably not even going to last 30 years. But a van, living in a vehicle, is really a disposable house. So you're going to switch houses quite a bit, probably, doing this. I've already considered the possibility that I'm going to probably have to, at some point, switch to another van. Now, that is another reason I decided to have a box van. All right? This is a very common cargo van. Several truck companies use this kind of a van or something similar to it. With a little effort, I could acquire another one just like this one if I got in an accident. I mean, it would be a hassle, but I could get one. So what if I got in an accident? Well, I would want to salvage as much as I can out of this van. And I would want to reduce the work getting the next van up and running. So that's something that drove my design decisions. If you look around in my van, these cabinets and everything are really designed very modularly, and I did it on purpose. This cabinet system here is one piece. It's one assembly. This counter is one assembly, complete one piece. The bed is a bunch of parts, but they can come apart very easily. This entire side can come apart. Everything in here, I could take this apart and pull it out of here probably in an hour. I could just, with a screw gun, I could pull screws out and have all this stuff out of here. And if I got another van just like it, I could put all this stuff right back in it. You see? And I know it's going to fit, because if I get another U-Haul truck after this one, well, I know it's the same dimensions. Everything should fit right in. That's the thinking I was going through as I built the thing. Everything I put in here, I was thinking first, how can I take this apart easily and get it out of here? Even the paneling on the wall, it's put on with screws. The screws are in turn screwed into the sideboards just a little bit. There's no glue holding the paneling or anything on. This whole thing is held together with screws, and now the cabinets, of course, are the pieces themselves are glued together, but it's one assembly. That whole thing can come right off, and same with the counter, as I said before. So, you know, and even the batteries under the bed, the solar panels on the roof. I haven't done very many actual modifications to the box itself. It's still a box van. You know, even though I've got all this stuff in here, this is just cargo in a box van. That can be beneficial for other reasons as well. You know, I could turn it back into a box van. I could sell it as a box van too, and it's just a box van. The only permanent modification I made was when I cut the hole in the front, and I welded a couple of brackets onto the bumper, which I don't even use. I don't even think I really needed to do that. But that's about the only thing I've done to change the actual van itself. That's one of the reasons I'm not sawing holes in the van. And a lot of people are worried about my ventilation and everything and think that I need a fantastic fan and all that stuff. I have another... There's times in the summer when I may end up needing more ventilation in here, but I have another solution in mind for that. Primary design philosophy behind this is it's temporary, reusable. I need to know that I can easily pull things apart and reuse them. If I put a lot of work and effort into something that's permanent on this van, then I'm going to lose all of that when I get in a car accident. Hopefully I don't get in a car accident, but I don't think it's a very wise approach to assume that you're never going to get in a car accident if you're living in an automobile on wheels. Something sooner or later. But I've got this set up so I could go through this and salvage everything out. I could take all my pieces out, put it in a storage facility temporarily, get another van the same size. The panels, the wood, everything would fit right back into the new van, pretty much the same way it came out. That's the plan, and that's one of the main reasons I got a box van, as well as the fact that I wanted to be able to build it myself. The whole issue of stealth is an interesting subject. You know, that's having a box van. It lends itself to the stealth aspect of parking, urban camping, and so forth. But I didn't get a box van just for that purpose. I got it for the purposes I stated. It's a platform that I can build something on, and I think it's a disposable and reusable platform that I can work with. So the bottom line for this is that a cube van, or any vehicle that you're going to live in that's on wheels, is a disposable house. It's a mobile house. It gives you more freedom in a lot of ways. But the trade-off is that it's a disposable house, and you're probably going to have to replace it more frequently than you would a fixed house that you live in. It's just a very real trade-off to be aware of, and the risks are very real and important to take into consideration. At least they were for me. So that's why I built the van the way it is. I'll continue doing videos about the van itself, and I'll get more detailed about some of the things that people have asked me about. And so I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope this little discussion helped you a little bit.